Hi, welcome back to the Business of Business with the City of Omaha. I'm Jared Anderson, the Economic Equity and Inclusion Program Administrator.
And I am Christian Espinosa, the Assistant Director of the Human Rights and Relations Department.
And today we are pleased to have with us again, actually for our second visit, we have Lindsay Decker with Avenue Scholars. So please welcome Lindsay to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So since the last time you were here, we were talking about this a little bit ago, you've actually had a little bit of change in where you're at with the Avenue Scholars. Do you want to start with that? Tell us a little bit about your background and kind of how you got to where you're at now?
Absolutely. So previously, I actually worked at Avenue Scholars, a part of the business outreach team. So my role there was to create relationships with area businesses and then see if those relationships could turn into meaningful workplace experiences for our students. So internships or career exploration, career awareness, employment opportunities. And so now my role is focused purely on communications and development. So Director of Communications and Development. So really trying to increase our presence within the community so that people kind of know a little bit more about our impact and the work that we do. And then on the development side, working with folks from philanthropy to see who can support our work and help us increase our mission and advance our mission towards better things.
So you place students with businesses, right?
Yes, yeah. In my previous role?
your previous
Yes,
job,
correct.
right.
Yes.
Okay. So, and what else does Avenue Scholar does?
Well, so Avenue Scholars, I like to kind of explain it in kind of like the macro sense, I guess you could say. But so what we do is we work with students and we try to get them involved in high demand, high wage, high skilled careers. And so these are students who, where we recruit them their sophomore year of high school. These are students that are primarily coming from spaces of financial need, so perhaps on free and reduced lunch or Pell Grant eligible. And so these are students who perhaps have an interest in, some of the industries we support, such as auto or business or IT, healthcare, auto trades, things like that. And what we do is we try to career coach them into those industries and help support them build their skill set so that they can take on these jobs that are available within our community. So it's interesting because we're not a before or after school program, which is kind of unique. There's a lot of programs out there that maybe are similar to that, but we're kind of more intrusive. We're a little bit more embedded in a student's life, whereas a student will take an Avenue Scholars course within their class. And that class is helping to prepare them from a soft skills development standpoint, and then also too from a hard skills development standpoint, really helping to build their skills so that they feel more equipped and confident to take on these careers that are available.
Perfect. I know we had a few people in the engineering and architectural field when we first met that were actually involved with Avenue Scholars. So I know that there's still interest, and that's kind of the world that we live in is construction, engineering. So we're always trying to put out there different organizations like Avenue Scholars that are doing things to connect with some of the mission of what our department is typically puts our programming towards, which, like you said, is focused on higher poverty areas.
Yes.
Underserved populations. So this is a great way to connect new pipelines for youth. So as far as kind of what we were talking about, economic development is what that would fall under. How can some of the small businesses maybe that we work with in the construction, engineering, architectural community, how can they benefit from what Avenue Scholars is doing? How can both sides benefit, I guess?
Yeah, that's a good question. I always like to think of it as like, we want our work to be mutually beneficial for our partners. We don't want this to feel like we're just getting benefit from it or our partners. It has to mutually work. Otherwise, it just doesn't work and it doesn't serve anybody. It doesn't serve the student. It doesn't serve our community. And so one of the things I think we're hearing the most from the business community, and specifically you could say the small and the larger business community, is they're struggling. They want their talent pipelines to be built. They're looking for workers. And they've become so lenient now from a standpoint of, hey, we're just looking for bodies to show up and have a good attitude and be willing to learn. Like, we'll train you on everything else. And so for us, I think, how can small businesses get involved? Well, we're willing to help these businesses really help stack their talent pipelines. And really what that looks like, excuse me, is getting a student familiar with their work. And so we look at it at certain particular phases, like career awareness. First, kind of working with a student and planting a seed as to what careers exist within these larger bucket industries. A student might think healthcare, and think certainly that it's just roles that are patient facing. But within healthcare, there's jobs like that, are technology based or business based or even trades and construction, right? There's patient facing roles, there's non-patient facing roles. And so career awareness opportunities, working with a small business where a business can help kind of show a student, hey, this is what exists here within our area.
What it actually looks like.
What it actually looks like, what it actually feels like, and what are the education skills and training that's involved so that a student can really take on that pathway. And then from there, so career awareness and other opportunities, career exploration. And for us, it looks like a boot camp program, which I think I mentioned maybe last time we were here.
So.
It's like a 4-week immersive experience where students can really get a hands-on feel and build their skills. So maybe a business is partnering with us so that a student can potentially start to learn, okay, what are the hard skills I need to develop in this industry to be ready? Do I need to start working on getting my OSHA certification? Or do I need to start learning a little bit more about programming or code? Like, what do I need to start building within my toolbox? And then career participation, which is getting the student to participate in their industry, maybe in the form of internships or employment. It's interesting because we'll work with students that are high school age, and then on to throughout their 20s, early 20s usually. However, but this is where students in high school are really kind of getting the most work experience. And so there's still jobs available for students who are 16 years old, 17 years old,
Right.
but just working with students in that way and getting them involved in their industry.
What is the youngest age that you work with?
Typically 16, yeah.
Right.
So late high school years up to earlier college, mid college
Yes,
years.
yes. Mm-hmm.
So that kind of led into the next part. I was going to say, with the smaller businesses, there's a different look than probably with the larger businesses due to collaborate. As far as the EAP program that I manage, it's mostly middle to larger size companies. There are small companies involved too, but they sometimes have more resources, so they're looking for new ways to collaborate. What would it look like for a company that's more of that size?
Yeah, honestly, we're hearing the exact same. I think we're hearing this from the business community. It doesn't matter the size, is we need workers. We need workers, and they know that too to sustain their industry. And so I think businesses small and large, I think you could say smaller businesses, perhaps there's more of an urgency. But I think for larger businesses, I also want to honor that too. There's still an urgency because I think they're looking at what's the future look like to sustain our work, and what it is it's talent. And in order to do great work, you need great people. And so for us, it's how can we build great people, and then but not do that in a silo. We don't want to just do that within the bucket of Avenue Scholars. We want to do that in collaboration with the business community so that the business community can have some autonomy and training what the future workforce looks like.
Have you thought about getting involved with the city? I mean, we have a lot of trades in the city.
That's true.
So
A lot of administrative roles too.
Right, trades and administrative. I mean, we have a big plethora.
Yeah.
Of,
Let's collaborate. Yes, yes.
and I was just thinking because the city works with. I mean, you have to be 18, but we need a lot of CDL drivers, and we can pay for their training.
Yes.
But many people don't know that besides the private industry, they can work for the government too.
Yeah, and these are the things, I mean, I'm serious, let's collaborate because these are the things that we want to train our students. There's different environments in which you can work. Like, what's it look like to work for the city? What are some of the benefits offered, right? And just getting them to be more, and there's opportunities where, hey, folks will pay for your training. That's not everywhere. And just getting students to be a little bit more familiar with what are the benefits of different places and different environments and work, and where can I really launch my career, and if I want to stay there 20, 30, 40 years, or, and we don't see that all the time, but perhaps maybe we'll see a resurgence of that.
Well, on the communication side of things, in the new role, I know there's probably something you want to put out there, but I think there was an anniversary, right?
Yes,
That Avenue
yes.
Scholars was celebrating.
Yes, so we are 15 years old. We're celebrating our 15-year anniversary this year, which is exciting. I think the latest stat that I read is we've had like 3,700 students intersect within our program since its inception in 2008. So for us, that's just such a remarkable statistic, and we're just very proud of that.
Some staying power.
Some
Yeah.
staying power, right, exactly. And we've changed shape here and there since 2008, but I think, our founder, Dr. CEO, or excuse me, our founder and CEO, Dr. Ken Bird, he has, he's a former educator, and really he was a superintendent for years and years over at Westside Community Schools. And he always says, he measured success for students in like grade point averages and test scores. And now kind of with his work within Avenue Scholars, which again, a lot of us who work at Avenue Scholars now start to see, is success now is really less and less in grade point average and test scores. It's more about, can a student can find a fulfilling job, hold that job, and what can that job do for your life, and how can that help you too from a financial standpoint, and what does that look like? And so for us, it's exploring these new avenues, ironically, but
No
it's
pun intended.
No pun
no
intended,
pun
yeah.
intended, but it's been exciting. I think, for us too, it doesn't matter what stage of the program a student will exit Avenue Scholars. 85% of our students leave the program employed. And I think the federal statistic that I was able to find, to compare that to was within that same age demographic that we serve is like 55% are with the age demographic we serve, like 16 to 24 years old, is employed.
That's really good.
So we're proud of that, and it's just we're hoping we can always increase that too. But it's a great statistic, and it shows that we're doing good things.
Absolutely. Well, you talked about some of the milestones. So what's one of the success stories in your tenure there?
Yeah.
You have anything you want to share? It doesn't have to necessarily be specific to one person, but maybe whatever you have.
Well, I think one of the success stories that I love, and I think we're going to find more and more of, just the more we're involved in our community, is now some of our students are becoming our business partners,
Oh, right on.
which is really remarkable. So there's a particular young lady who we work with over at Signature Performance, and she's now kind of working to like hire our students, but she was a former Avenue Scholar. And she tells the story herself about how kind of being in the program, she just kind of, wasn't really sure kind of what she wanted to do in high school, and wasn't sure, what the program could offer her. And now she's climbed the ranks at Signature Performance, within HR, and is like involved in hiring our students and helping to train them. And it's just, I think we're going to see more and more of that. The more that we're involved in the community, and the more that we can, again, advance our mission within the community, I think we're going to start to see this beautiful
circle,
cycle.
yeah.
That's great.
Well, you kind of touched on it, I guess, but a good way to maybe end the show is, as things evolve and kind of organically change, what is, in your words, Avenue Scholars maybe next step, part of the vision, or do you think it's going to spread its wings into something else? Is there anything new and exciting you want to share, or
Yeah.
preview maybe, or?
I think for us, again, it's how can we continue to make a larger impact in our community? And so I think with that, it's how can we continue to expand and grow? And, perhaps we get involved in more schools. There's still more schools in the Omaha, greater Omaha area that we don't have a presence in. And even too, what does that look like across the state? Maybe there's some opportunities there. I think the conversation of workforce development has become, and as I'm sure you are familiar with, more prevalent. I think at first people were like, yeah, we don't need to worry about that quite yet. And I think now, again, back to urgency, there's a sense of urgency, like, no, we need we need to figure out some solutions here. And there's a lot of programs that are doing great work, and there's room for all of us to exist. But, I think in order for us to find success, it's again, how can we expand our work and help more students get integrated into the workforce?
That's good. And if somebody wants to contact you or any students wants to be part of your program,
Yes.
how do they reach
How
out
do
to
they
you?
do that? Well, the best way would be probably to visit our website. We have a way to contact us there. That's avescholars.org, so avscholars.org.
And the phone number?
402-916-9777.
Could you repeat that, please?
Yes, 402-916-9777.
And the website too.
avscholars.org.
Perfect. Thank you. We'll put it up there so everybody watching can see it.
Yes.
Definitely in what we do with the programming at the city, like I said, we have had several firms reach out. Some have collaborated. This is an opportunity for that. So if anybody viewing has an EIP and you're looking for new ways to connect, there you go.
Please do.
Do you have any other questions you want to ask or anything
that
else you
would
want to
be
share?
Just thank you for the work that you do. Thanks for helping us just increase our awareness in the community. And it's just, we'll see what these next 15 years have to hold.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you.
And for sharing with us about Avenue Scholars.
Thank you.
Well, and that's been the Business of Business with the City of Omaha. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
You think you're so radical. I think you wanna start